So this is new for me at Walmart here. Card payments only, no cash back available at these self-checkouts. Hello, SquirrelTribe. How you guys doing today? So I want to first apologize if the camera gets shaky or if there's any wind sound. It is a little windy out today, not like it has been the last couple days with the 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, but we're roughly between 5 and 10 mile per hour today. So nothing crazy, but there is a little wind and I apologize for that. How many of you, just out of curiosity, still mail anything through the United States Postal Service? The reason I ask this question is because the more and more I see what's happening with not just the USPS, but with UPS and FedEx and even like Amazon and places like that, I'm very concerned that at some point in the near future, we're not going to have a United States Postal Service anymore. This may not seem like a big deal, obviously, but to me it kind of is because it's a foreshadowing, if you will, of what is to come. So they are raising the prices of stamps again for the 4th time in less than 2 years. I remember back when I was little, stamps were like crazy cheap. Just 20 years ago, a 1 ounce letter would mail for 37 cents and a domestic postcard was 23 cents. Now, 20 years later, they are proposing that a 1 ounce letter is now 73 cents to mail. That is a huge difference in price. And again, it doesn't seem like that big a deal over 20 years, but when you're buying a lot of different stamps and mailing a lot of different things, it does start to add up, especially as like businesses use the United States Postal Service and things like that. Holidays, Christmas, birthdays, things like that. It gets expensive for people. So listen, it says here, the first class stamp is going to go up another 7% to 73 cents. The 1 ounce, I just want to tell you how this works. So there's this little, I guess like, what is the word for this thing? I don't even know what to call this thing. This thing right here, like not a graph. Graph is completely the wrong word, but these are the proposed increases in stamps that, if approved, will go through in July. So you have until July to stock up, if you will, on cheaper stamps. So 1 ounce letters, current price 68 cents. They're trying to go up to 73 cents. Metered 1 ounce letters, 64 cents up to 69 cents. International 1 ounce letters from 155 to 165. Domestic postcards from 53 cents to 56 cents. Not that big a deal. International postcards $1.55 to $1.65. Again, doesn't seem like that big a deal, but it starts to become very inconvenient for people, and more people are going to start going, you know, sending the emails, sending the virtual cards, the virtual birthday cards and things like that, if you will. And then a lot of people end up paying most of their bills online. A lot of places don't accept checks anymore. They don't accept cash. They only accept either electronic payments or pay over the phone by credit card. As you saw in the very beginning of this, went to Walmart today, had to get some stuff. I needed some Chobani yogurt. I'm trying to get the good probiotics, you know, daily. So I'm trying to eat a yogurt every day. And going through the self-checkout, because they had maybe 2 or 3 regular registers open, but we needed to hurry up and get in and out. So I went through the self-checkout and we found one that was not, had a line at it, because all the self-checkouts there had a line except for the one we ended up at the very, very end, at the very, very front, whatever you want to call that. And when I got up there, it was like, hey, credit cards only. There is no cash and there is no cash back. So that's a new thing. You're seeing more and more places trying to get rid of cash. I feel like, unfortunately, that's going to come in play here with the USPS, if you will, at the same time. More and more people are going to say, I'm not going to pay for the stamp when I can send it for free, technically, via email or electronic you know, postcard or something like that. It's much cheaper in the long run. So when I saw this, I was like, that's going to be kind of a big deal for a lot of people. I know older generations prefer to handwrite a letter, put a stamp on it, mail it out, to have that personal touch, that personal feeling, you know. I think that a lot of younger people don't really do that because they didn't grow up with it. They've grown up with technology, so it's a little different for them. And as the older generations are moved along, if you will, and all these newer generations are moving in, you're going to have the old ways of doing things pretty much obliterated, which is the nicest way to put that. That's probably not the nice way to put that, but they will be obliterated. New ways will move in and everything's going to be technology based. So not only is the United States Postal Service trying to raise their prices on stamps, but they've also signed, y'all, they've also signed with UPS for them to be one of their primary air cargo providers for the United States Postal Service. So now, not only is the United States Postal Service, USPS, upping the prices of, you know, sending things through them, whether it's a package, a letter, a postcard, or whatever. They are now bringing in outside competitors, if you will, to fly their stuff around. So according to this came out a couple weeks ago. I just forgot to talk about it. UPS will become the primary air cargo provider for the United States Postal Service. The Atlanta Shipping Company said on Monday, weeks ago, that it had received an air cargo contract from the U.S. Postal Service that significantly expands an existing partnership between the two. UPS will move the majority of air cargo in the U.S. for the Postal Service following a transition period. This is according to to UPS. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. They're not going to tell us exactly how much money is changing hands here. The United States Postal Service's current air cargo contract with FedEx is set to expire in late September. So UPS came in and obviously made some much better propositions than FedEx could, and the United States Postal Service decided to sign this new contract with UPS. So if you thought that FedEx and the United States Postal Service was kind of shoddy in the last couple of years, hopefully that means that this new business working thing will work better with UPS. So FedEx said in a regulatory filing that it wasn't able to reach an agreement on mutually beneficial terms to extend the contract with the USPS. The company said the negotiations ended after extensive talks, and now it's done. And that contract expires on September 29th. After that, it will be up to USPS using UPS instead of FedEx. Now, to me, that's a big deal, because the more you see the United States Postal Service trying to move on to using other providers, it's like a little bit at a time until the last thing that's left is very minimal for the USPS, the United States Postal Service, and then everything is either UPS or FedEx or Amazon. Like I was saying, you buy through them, ship through them, whatever, and you're going to see, in my personal opinion, the Postal Service kind of go away. Most people don't want to take postal jobs. There's a lot of postal jobs open. When I made a video a couple days ago talking about the service industry and how people were having a hard time finding jobs, and a lot of people commented on the video that the United States Post Office is always hiring. And it is, because nobody wants to work there. And I don't know if it's because of low pay, because it's a government job, which you would think would be beneficial to a lot of people, because then you get the government perks of working there, like, certain holidays off, and it used to be Sundays off, but I've seen the Postal Service working on Sundays. But I feel like you're going to see more and more in the coming years. I'm not saying months, it's going to take time, obviously, but I feel like the government is not going to stand behind the United States Postal Service the way they did in the very beginning of it, and we're going to see it slowly go away, and everything's going to go more to these big corporations, the profit over people corporations of UPS and FedEx and things like that, and then everything else is going to go digital. They want us using computers for absolutely everything anyway. Your computer, your phone, your fingerprint, your palm print, your eye print, your face print to get into phones and things like that. The old ways of writing letters is going to be gone. They're not teaching cursive in a lot of schools anymore. A lot of people don't know how to sign their name if they're under 18, because they're not being taught how to do this in school. Where are you really signing things anymore anyway? Everything's digital, online. You type it in and it prints out a pretty little signature for you, and you move along on like DocuSign and things like that. So the old ways, I say the old ways, but to me it's like the normal ways of doing things are moving along, and these new ways are moving in. And I don't think that by the time I am done on this earth, I feel like the United States Postal Service will be done. It will be gone, and it will be a thing of the past that people talk about. Remember when you used to go to the post office to mail a letter? Like, it'll be one of those old things. Like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but I feel like that's going to be the case. So if you enjoy writing handwritten letters and mailing them out with the fun stamps, over Valentine's Day they have hearts, and then over President's Day they have certain presidents, then they do 4-leaf clover ones for St. Patrick's Day and things like that. They have all these fun little stamps. If you like them, get them now before the price goes up, or before the United States Postal Service just decides to poof, be gone. That was it. I found this very interesting, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me for that small little talk. I love you guys, and I'll see you again in just a little bit for another one.